We've got some new developments tonight in the story of the air traffic controller who allowed his young son to give directions to planes at JFK Airport here in New York. That apparently happened last month, and from what we're learning, it was not an isolated incident. Susan Candiotti has been covering the story for us today. What did you find out?
Well, Campbell, first of all, this is one of those things that makes you want to say, oh, come on, this couldn't possibly happen. But in fact, the FAA says that a JFK controller brought his son into work one day, and then the next day, according to a source, brought in his daughter to give directions from the control tower to planes. This while passengers on these planes, of course, were absolutely clueless. But you have to hear it from yourself. Here it is.
JetBlue 171, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, JetBlue 171.
Let's see here, Air Mexico 403 Kennedy, runway 3 left, position hold.
Position hold, Air Mexico 403.
This is what you get, guys, when the kids are out of school.
I can bring my kid to work.
JetBlue 171, contact departure.
Over to departure, JetBlue 171. Awesome job.
Thanks, have a good day.
03, clear for takeoff.
403, clear to takeoff. Thank you very much. You have a great day.
JetBlue 195, Kennedy Tower, runway 3 left, position hold.
31 left, position hold, JetBlue 195.
AMAX 403, contact departure, adios.
Contact departure, Aeromexico 403, adios.
Blue 195 with 31013, runway 3 left, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 31 left, JetBlue 195.
Delta 216, Kennedy, runway 3 left, position hold.
Position hold, 31 left, Delta 216.
Contact departure, adios amigos.
Adios amigos, over to departure, JetBlue 195.
Now, the FAA, not amused by this, the controller and the supervisor in charge at the time have both been put on administrative leave with pay, and the FAA put out this statement about what happened. They called it totally unacceptable and then added, quote, this lapse in judgment not only violated FAA's own policies, but common sense standards for professional conduct. The behavior does not reflect the true caliber of our workforce. And, of course, the Air Traffic Controllers Association, Campbell, saying the same thing. Pilots' websites tonight, interestingly enough, are on both sides. Some say they're absolutely outraged, and others are saying being blown out of proportion.
All right, Susan Candiotti for us. Susan, thanks. Joining me right now is Peter Goals, who is the former managing director of the National Transportation Safety Board and CNN legal analyst with us here as well, Lisa Bloom. Peter, just how often does something like this happen? Is it, you know, kind of common that a controller might bring their child to work one day to kind of let them see what it's like?
Well, it's probably common that controllers bring their kids into the tower to have them get a look at it, but it is absolutely not common that they get on the tower radio and try to control aircraft. It really is unheard of, and it's pretty outrageous.
So what are the rules about who can communicate with the pilots? They're all supposed to be licensed, right?
Exactly. Licensed controllers or controllers in training. And it really reflects on two things in the tower. One is, what kind of supervision is going on? If this has happened more than once, what are the supervisors doing? And then secondly, the FAA and NTSB talk about cultures of safety. That's how you really improve safety. That's why we have a very safe system. If they're letting this slide, it raises a flag. What else is going on?
Lisa, you heard the tape there. None of the adults involved, even the pilots who were communicating with the kid, you know, they were laughing. They didn't seem to think that there was a serious safety issue here. What's your take?
Right. Apparently the pilots were aware that this was happening, and they were going along for the joke. Frankly, I think this whole story is so overheated. I fail to see what the problem is. There was no harm. There was no foul. Apparently the father had his headsets on and was in control the entire time. He told his little boy exactly what to say, and the little boy just repeated it in air traffic controller lingo. No planes were put in jeopardy. It wasn't a bad weather day. It wasn't a crisis. They simply said to land the plane or it was okay to take off. The pilots had a little laugh. And that was it. I mean, I fail to see really what the issue is here.
So to that point, Peter, I mean, the dad was standing right there. I mean, what could have possibly happened that, you know, that was unforeseeable in that moment? I mean, obviously nothing did, but I mean, wouldn't the father have stepped in right away if there was an issue?
Listen, 99.99% of the time, it would be perfectly fine. You get away with it. But the reality is that one time, things happen in seconds in aviation. And if you're in any way distracted from making the right call, the right decision, people's lives are in jeopardy. And I think the flying public has the expectation that there are professionals doing their job by the book every day. And there are ways in which you can introduce your children to the workplace without having them actually pretending or actually controlling aircraft. I mean, I know it sounds like, it's a harsh thing, but there was an accident in Siberia in which a pilot put his son into the cockpit of an Aeroflot airplane. The son inadvertently clicked off the autopilot. Everybody was killed in that accident.
Right. Well, this isn't quite the. I don't think that's a fair comparison. Situation. Well, let me just say though, what would you like to have happen to this guy, Peter? Do you think he should be fired?
I think he should be disciplined.
Well,
I'm not
fired,
sure.
Or he already has been disciplined. I think
well,
he's been suspended.
I don't think being suspended with pay is particularly a disciplinary action. I think that's pending. They see what happened. No, I'm not sure he should be fired, but I think he should be disciplined.
Lisa, would we even be talking about this if we weren't in this age? And in fairness, where airline security is such a dominant theme in our lives now, given obviously what happened post 9/11, the environment. I mean, it's just something that everybody's a little hypersensitive about.
Exactly. I mean, this is like Joan Rivers being considered a security risk because her passport isn't her real name and not her stage name. I mean, come on. Let's just use a little common sense here. The actual air traffic controller, the father, was in control the whole time. It's not as if all the traffic controllers left the building in the sole care of a 7-year-old who then was landing planes on his own. This was simply a father telling a son to say something into the microphone. The son said it. Everybody had a little chuckle. And at the end of the day, is this really worth an investigation by the FAA? Suspending employees and the supervisors? I mean, come on. I think a little common sense is still in order.